Hi, I'm Phil. I'm a university professor. I live in Florida, but also spend a lot of my time working overseas, which figures into my story. Um, about a year ago, after several years of denial, I finally accepted that I really needed to do something about my hearing loss. I had all my coping strategies in the classroom, walking up really close to students so I could hear their questions. I actually really enjoyed during COVID because I could teach over Zoom and turn up the loudspeaker and actually hear my students pretty well. Um, but finally, I said, all right, I got to do something about this. My mom recommended her audiologist in where we live in Florida, and I went to see him. His reaction after giving me a hearing test, which found mild loss in my left ear and moderate loss in my right ear, was, "I can't believe you don't already have hearing aids." Well, I wasn't really ready to do anything at that moment, but some months passed, and finally, after doing some research, I decided to dip my foot in the water and buy some over-the-counter hearing aids. I wasn't ready to fork over a lot of money for this yet. So I bought some Sony CRC C10 over-the-counter hearing aids, which go inside the ear. And what I liked about them was they really appealed to my vanity. You'd have to crawl inside my ear to see that I was wearing it. And so I like that about it. The hearing, not great. Uh, Certainly better than not having any hearing aid at all. But what I found was when I went overseas to teach, as soon as I left the United States, the Sony's app stopped working. Well, that became kind of a non-starter because you really need the app to make adjustments to different environments. By the way, the Jabra, I found the same thing applies to them. I didn't buy the Jabra. I found out before I bought them, that they also own their app also only works in the United States, and they only support the Jabras in the United States. That may not matter to most of you, but it mattered to me. Uh, After doing a lot of research uh, at some of the standard YouTube sites, I came across Zip Hearing. And between the information I got on Zip Hearing and the other websites, I kind of narrowed down to a few different models. I was considering the Phonak Audio Sphere, the Oticon Intent, and the Starkey Edge AI. My sister was using, and her partner were both using the Intent. I think she was using Intent 2 and her partner Intent 3. Uh, so when I finally decided I was going to jump all in, I contacted Zip Hearing. They recommended a local audiologist who happened to be the same audiologist that my mom had recommended and I had been to 9 months earlier. After talking it through with him, I actually decided to get the Oticon Intent 1. I should pass on some wisdom from a friend of mine who's gone through several different uh, models of hearing aids and who's got a more severe loss than myself. And he's a musician, so kind of important. Uh, his recommendation to me was buy the most powerful model that you can afford. And in my case, I could afford, the money wasn't an issue. So I went for the Oticon Intent 1. What do I think about it? Where I would have given the Sony a 3 or 4 out of 10, I give this Oticon Intent 1 a 9.5. The hearing is crystal clear. It's got a pretty good app. It allows you to adapt. You choose different programs for different environments. For example, uh, in my car, it was useless for me to listen to music in the car because of the outside noise when I was wearing the Sony hearing aids. But with the Oticon, it's a pleasure. I can either listen with the car stereo system or feed them directly via Bluetooth to the hearing aids. I should mention that, some more about that. Actually, I kind of kid people and say that with the hearing aids I've got now, I'm better than natural hearing. What I mean by that is not that the hearing is better. Hearing's probably not as good as natural hearing. It's very good though. But the fact that you've got the Bluetooth means when I take my dogs for a walk, I've got my phone in my pocket and I listen to the music without having earbuds sticking out of my ear. When a phone call comes in, goes directly into the hearing aids. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. I got to say, really impressive. That said, the Bluetooth, you may hear that the Oticon's Bluetooth is not entirely stable. What that means is sometimes if I'm, what I found is if I'm taking my dogs for a walk, for some reason I got to keep the phone in my left pocket in order to keep both channels going. So its Bluetooth capability is, I would say, good, but not top of the line. Hopefully they'll solve that going forward. A friend of mine I was playing golf with yesterday, we were seated at the table having breakfast afterwards, and he said, "Hey, I'm thinking of getting hearing aids like yours." I said, "What do you mean like mine?" He said, "Like what I like about yours is I can't even see them." Now, these are the Oticon Intents. They're not like the Sonys where they're buried inside your ear. They are behind the ear, but even with them behind the ear, you really can't see. Here's the size. They're really small and they're basically invisible. They never fall out. Uh, totally comfortable. I've been wearing them 14 to 18 hours a day, every day from the day I got them. So there's no discomfort, at least I haven't experienced discomfort. Battery life is not an issue. I use them 14 to 18 hours a day, and I've always got 10 hours of battery life left. Here is the charger. You can see they just slide in there. Very convenient, smart charger. And I guess that's really my review. I will add one more thing, and that is that my experience with Zip Hearing was totally positive, 100%. Very responsive. I was actually ordering my hearing aids from overseas. I was overseas teaching, and I had to call to California, to San Diego, to Zip Hearing to actually pay for the order. So forking over several $1,000s and my Visa card number over the telephone, I wanted to be sure that Zip Hearing was legit. So I did a lot of background checking on this, and everywhere I looked, people were giving them 5-star ratings, which gave me confidence. And my own experience was 10 out of 10. So what can I say? You can't beat saving 40% on an expensive piece of technology. And if you're not somebody with money to spare, by saving that 40%, you can buy a much higher level of technology than you would be if you were paying full price. And as kind of a techie myself, I develop software. I can say that get the best technology you can. Good luck.